So, are we already talking about? There? Oh no, I will do that out there. And then we'll just darken it and make sure it's heated in. Whenever we're done. No, so I was meaning to do it yet.
You only need 2 and 1?
Yeah, I think that's probably good, yeah. Right. decent. Just like some Maryland bridges. One to pick up the temp, one to bond in if we don't get good. Whatever.
Alright.
What implant are we doing? Or are you gonna just? Oh, I think you might know this guy.
Alright. See if I got everything we need. Alright, I'll get you down.
There's like nothing worse than like starting a procedure and then three minutes in you run out of water.
Yeah, that is a clutch time right there. Doc, did you want the 15C blade set up or a regular 15?
What I got on here right now? I think I loaded
that's
one.
a 15C. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's a regular 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have the mic on?
I don't know. I was gonna go to the bathroom and test it out.
Please don't. Clips wrapped around the handle.
Articaine, do you want?
Yeah.
Alright, can you try talking normally, Doc? Just to get a level of how you will be for the procedure.
Alright, this is about what I'll be talking. Does it sound like you can hear me okay? Is this loud enough? What do you think?
Well, just talk at your normal level, how you're going to, and I'm just going to set the gain right.
Alright, okay. I'm just gonna put some topical up in here for now. Probably tastes wonderful.
You got cherry.
Testing, yeah, we got cherry.
Flavor of the day for you, Doc.
Yeah.
We took out the vodka.
When I was in this chair, man, I was so nervous. I was worst patient. So, okay. You want me to keep talking?
Trying to keep it together here.
You what?
I'm trying to keep it together here.
You're doing a great job. Nerves of steel as far as I can tell.
It sucks because we're just used to being in control of everything, right? And it's just like having to
Can't see
get.
anything.
Yep.
Just trust.
Yeah, just that's what it all comes down to. Oh, so glad once it was over. I was like, oh, I finally did that.
What kind of work did you have done here?
I had an implant down on my front tooth.
Oh, front tooth too?
Yes, this exact same tooth.
No kidding.
Exact same scenario.
I feel like all doctors should have an implant done on them. Mandatory.
Should.
Mandatory. Absolutely.
All right.
Do need to get his vitals set.
Okay. Which, when they do blood,
I don't care.
yeah, we'll do this one over here.
Options there.
Yeah, he's got a good one.
Get that last try.
Okay.
It's just ball squeezing. We'll get you.
Can still knock you out.
Alcohol whip?
Yeah, I already did.
You already did?
Although the evening was weird for me.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I don't want.
Yeah. I hate the afterwards. I woke up in a steakhouse eating steak. I was like, what am I doing? All right, you ready?
1 blue, 2 red.
Yep.
Okay.
You want to hand me a 2x2 there? So that's what we're going to do. This one, 2x2. All right, you're good.
New one?
Hold on. You got a little roll on it. There we go.
Good flow?
Yep.
Sure. This room is full. I haven't seen this room this full since Wade's front tooth got done.
So you want to...
Are you gonna hurry and sleep him while that's in? Just like we did with you?
Yeah.
What do you need from me? Do you want me to hang out in here? Do you want me to hang out in there and answer any questions for
No,
people
you
that
can
are
hang
over
out in
there?
here. It's fine.
Good
I'll
flow?
have you, I'll have you just make sure this. I want 2 membranes and some sticky bone. I got like half a cc there, but I got 2 of them, so maybe 1 cc.
Last 2 here?
All allograft.
Yeah, I think I did some cancellous chips.
A good sized strip of that.
So it's just 2 membranes and 1 sticky bone.
Alright, Doc, we're just about done here. Okay. I'm gonna take the sharp.
You do not want
Tape.
xenograft, right?
No, what do I have there?
Xenograft.
Oh, sorry. I was looking for some cancellous chips. Close there for a second. All right. Are you saying goodbye to your family? All right, I'll go and get you them here.
Are all 3 in already or no? Yes.
I bring him down a little this time. I would have offered you.
Maybe. Oh, we don't know how to?
I think you used to be able to.
Yeah, you can pull it in.
Yeah.
So Grant, you can bump the gain down a little bit.
The guy that was
Bump the gain down a little bit, but
there was no
excuse me. What was wrong? My favorite kit right here.
I've never seen that one.
Is there a YouTube link?
Actually, this is a little
How did-
YouTube link up on there. I can send it to you.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah. What's your email?
I want my OnlyFans group to watch this.
You just have your email. I'll send it to you.
Dr. Wade Pilling. So DRWADE.
At onlyfans.com.
Cool.
We'll do it in a second.
Give you a rinse here.
I'll watch from the other room.
And open.
Oh, we should get those lights up too.
Grab a couple more.
You need some more?
Septicane. Oh, you got some? Oh, you got some extra. Just let those soak in for a bit.
I do know.
Hanging in there. Thinking about that sedation.
Can we put it up here?
Yeah, I'm grabbing it.
Yeah?
Thanks, man. There's,
Oh, am
you
I
can't
bumping
because
Sorry. There. Did I move it?
So Dr. Wade Killing.
You can send it to me.
Oh, you have email, Grant? I will. All right, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, move too.
it's such a tiny screen. That's funny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
The camera's looking at the screen now.
One of them? That one?
nice deep breath. Wiggle your toes.
You already
have it,
Yeah, yeah.
What's your
Excuse me. I don't think they need that light.
Okay.
That has a crown on it, doesn't it?
It's a little blurry. Oh, there you go.
Or that's a crown, right? It's your natural tooth.
Put it near,
Oh, it's got a veneer. Okay.
like 20 years old.
Nice. I think it's pretty low. It does.
There is.
Yeah, on that TV. Remember when you had the YouTube videos on? Or the educational? Mhm. Nice deep breath into your nose. I'll give you a big rinse right here. Open, open. And close down. And then open.
All right. How's that? Was that pretty bad?
It's alright.
It's all right. Okay. We'll give you just a few minutes, then we'll.
It's about 30 seconds delayed. Yeah.
Oh, it is delayed from here for 30 seconds.
Yeah, because it's gotta go to the YouTube server and back. So.
Okay.
Probably lightly bonded to either
Hey, how many
tooth.
frames are we drawing?
Oh, you think?
No, it is.
Did the veneer come off and then you?
No, not the veneer, but I mean, I bonded, like, the tooth.
It's a lot.
I bit down on something like a month ago. And it kind of started moving a little bit, so then I bonded it.
Oh, so it might be. Yeah. Did you email me the link?
Grant will. I don't have
Okay.
it now, but Grant has it, so he will send it to us back. Yeah.
So
So the video we see from the
So-
room is kind
So
of
it's the same video as this, but see the audio then is going to be 30 seconds delayed as well, so it's going to be in sync.
Yeah.
Versus here, this is just 30 seconds delayed of real time, so it's kind of weird.
So I've got the kit here out that I use. Kind of shows you like, I'm gonna first get the crown off, then you use this to kind of shape it. This is that one that goes down the canal. These are those side cutting ones. These are for shaping the inside, you know, and then these are those safe ended ones that can kind of drop the thing vertically. So I'll go through this kit. Right over there is the kit you're gonna be using tomorrow. It's kind of fairly, you can even open it up if you want. It's fairly similar. It's just missing, I think it's kind of missing these safe-sided ones, but it's got a different type of safe-sided. You'll kind of see, it makes sense the same way. These ones I like just a little bit more. And this is that thing I said, you can buy these from Brassler, right? They use these to retract tissue for like class 5 facials, you know, when you want to get in there and keep the tissue away type of thing, but that can help a little bit as well. So, DR Wade Pilling, WADEPILLING at yahoo.com. Starting to feel numb?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll find out.
we'll find out.
Give him the good stuff.
Okay. I haven't given you anything on the palette yet, but I will. Okay. So first step, we're going to section that tooth off at the gum line and get the socket shield done. Implant in, graft, socket shield done. Then I'm going to use like a peak abutment, maybe show you a custom healing abutment, how I do it. I'm going to try and use his existing tooth. It's got a veneer on it. So cutting it off without it blowing up into a million pieces might be a little tricky. If you could grab me a set of diamond burrs. And then let's see. Then we will, oh, here's the link. Then we'll prepare the site for the graft. I'll get him numb on the bottom and I'll prepare that implant for the connective tissue graft as well as this one up here. Then we'll harvest the graft, move forward. We've got some PRF rolling. And I'm gonna do a connective tissue graft. So it's not gonna be a free gingival graft. So it'll be pretty good. All right, here we go.
It looks great.
Right.
Hey doc, a little variety pack here, is that good?
Yep, that works perfect. I'm just gonna add this link. Okay. Should be good. All right. Any questions? Okay.
How much time do you allot for this procedure during your normal day?
Something like this, I think. I don't know, like maybe if it's just like a single with a connected, I might give myself 2 hours. Yeah. Go ahead and open. I mean, it could certainly be done faster, but
the close-up will be there in about another 20 seconds, 10 seconds. It's just delayed. So yeah, it's dropping this now.
Do we have any college? It's actually not a bad thing because then we can watch it live.
Replay.
That's true.
See, there you go.
If you didn't need the other site for bottom left, would you do pedicle graft?
No, I'd still just do, because a pedicle graft will require a pretty big palatal. I mean, you flop the whole palate open almost and carve it deep and pull it. I just use those are actually pretty aggressive. This one will be like a little bit more minimally invasive. You won't have a lot of post-op, pain. A pedicle sliding graft, those definitely come with some
Give you a rinse here.
some discomfort.
Did you also get tuberosity?
Yeah, you can do that. I haven't checked to see how his tuberosity is. But no, I don't think we've got a good option on the tuberosity. I'm actually pulling out number 15 today too on him.
Are you really?
Yeah, it has an abscess and it's got some bone loss from like a wisdom tooth that was over it. So we're just gonna take it out today while we're at it. That'll be like all of 5 seconds at the end.
Are you gonna replace it with anything?
Probably not. Yeah, this ankle looks good. Yeah.
Not in good shape.
Yeah, it's not. If you see the X-ray, it's not good. Okay.
You don't want a socket graft 15?
No.
Can you give me a 13?
It's actually like floating in like the bone loss, so we're actually worried about what it's gonna do to 14.
Oh, gotcha.
Does the light here affect the camera?
We'll know in 30 seconds. We'll know.
Oh,
2 minutes. Doesn't look like
Not
that.
too bad.
okay. All right.
Better actually.
When you set it down.
So I'm gonna start sectioning this tooth. So I'll section it from the lingual.
I'll get down.
You have to be careful when sectioning resorption teeth because they kind of just like you can fall into dead spaces and go too far. All right, so we're just gonna start off by sectioning this entire crown off. So I'm gonna go from the facial a little bit. I'm switching to a diamond because he does have a veneer on this tooth and I would love for it to be attached at the end. And if it would help for me to move him as well, I can move him as well if that helps with the camera a little bit better. So anyway, I'm just using a diamond because diamond cuts porcelain better here. So I kind of did some on the lingual, now some on the facial. Now I'm going to connect those two and hopefully just snap this whole crown off so we can get access to everything that's underneath of it. Yeah, he bonded it to the adjacent teeth a little bit too. He just said, "I'm gonna make him earn it." Anyway, we're cut through.
They're asking the other room can turn off lights,
Now, if this didn't have a veneer on it, it would probably bust it a little bit quicker. Okay. So there I got his tooth off, and I'm gonna maybe be able to shape that and make this fit and work. We kept it mostly intact, but we'll just set that to the side. Don't throw it away. Yeah, there's the bonding he did. You grab that off your tongue. Okay. All right, so it's out. Go ahead and suction here so we can kind of have a look at. Still tread back. Okay. Oh yeah, grab me a surgical suction. So we're just going to look at the site here. Just have a look at it. Kind of see what the resorption. Yeah, so I can feel the connection right here into the palatal tissue, the resorption. This is all just kind of weird, angry tissue. Remember how I said laterally on that, there was like some resorption, looked like it was perforating, so I am a little worried about what the bone looks like in between here, but I think we got a connection outside here. So this is a situation where I don't want any of this tissue involved here. So my socket shield is not going to come as interproximally, as I said you sometimes can. I'm going to keep it out here mostly on the buccal, but I can see a resorption connection right there and run right there. So this will tend to be, go ahead and suction on this. Did we, he's got a post in this, which is extremely annoying. That's going to be my hard part, is drilling down through that post. Because it looks like, do you know what kind of post it is? Is it a fiber post?
I didn't even know there was that one in there.
Yeah.
From the extra CT, it looks like
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I'm not gonna be able to go straight to my. Oh, actually, you know what? It wasn't. It looks like it was just composite. So anyway, so it wasn't. I think it was just thick gutter perch actually. Yeah, we're good. That's not a post. I thought I was going to have to drill through a post, which would create a problem. Okay, so. All right, so first thing I do is I want to shape this top part of the site. Hey, you can see a little bit, 30 seconds delayed there.
Hey Grant, do you want to get those membranes
Okay.
out?
So let's, I'm just going to get rid of some of this tissue out of the way. Remember, I'm going to leave a little, I'm not going to do this on the lingual because it'll give me something more to elevate off of. But I'm definitely just going to take this down to the level of the tissue. I don't want to hit my tissue, because remember, we're just trying to be as minimally invasive as we can here. So I'm just grossly shaping this down to the level of the gingival margin, more or less. I'm actually just kind of going in there, shaping that down a little bit. Right, so, and this long burr is really nice in the anterior. Again, if you don't have this kit, you can use a diamond and maybe come at an angle from the facial. This just allows you to get down here nice and good here. So I think I'm right level with the tissue now, the way I want it. Pop in some more. Okay. All right, go to suction on that. Okay, so there's various sizes for that.
You said level with the tissue, not the bone?
Level with the tissue. I'm not taking it down to the level of the bone until I'm down to just my shield.
Okay.
Right? I'm just trying to grossly get this out of the way down there. So, and this post drill, it actually has a stopper on you. You can just, I think the one in the Meisinger kit just has markers you can measure, but you can do this based on how deep you, like, you know, sometimes when you look at the x-ray, like, gosh, if I go out the apex, I'm perforating. This one, you know, you can adjust it so you can nail it perfectly, right? So I know what his is based on my measurements.
Your neck pillow, is that alright?
No, that's fine. I was working on that.
Oh yeah. Look, Mom on TV.
Are you watching your own? Okay, so you can see I still have some lingual tissue there. The gutta percha in there to take out, but I brought that down just level to the gum. Eventually I'm going to drop it a little bit more because my goal is to take this tissue and slide it up a little bit more around my temp. So I have to shape my temp, but I'm going to wait till we've got everything in there. So I'll just go ahead with this one. This is the one that just, it's basically a massive drill space. And I'll get all the gutta percha out.
How do you do this as opposed to
You probably take like this burr and just do that at high speed. If it was a resin, I would basically just use this like this because this will not cut a resin post. This would. If it's a metal post, you're going to get your 556 carbide and work your ass off. You know, you're gonna basically 556 it. You're gonna cuss yourself. You're gonna be like, yeah, maybe let's not do socket shield here.
Can you hold that post in the camera area so that the class can see?
This one?
Drill, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. If this was a resin drill, you could use this and go down. I just don't want to get my high speed down there, you know, too much right now. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'll check and see where the gutta percha is. We still got some gutta percha there. You know, this is sometimes also a good, if you ever feel like you're lost, if you're don't know where you are relative to apex, you can, at this point, take a PA, right? I mean, I don't think it'd be nice to see where I'm hitting some like really, I'm hitting kind of a wall down there. This thing doesn't cut dentin super well, so it might be that I'm hitting the end. Again, this isn't going to be a very clean visual surgery for me because the granulation tissue's everywhere from the resorption, and it tends to kind of grow in, and it's hard to dry the space out. So, suction there. So we could. There's still got a percha here on the facial, but I'm not too worried about that. That'll all come out when we start going to town on stuff. So I think at this point, like I said, this is the one point in the procedure I like to take a PA, because once I know where I am vertically, then I can just blindly just start cutting, knowing where I am. So if we could take a PA,
You got it.
that'd be great. We'll see. Sometimes, like I said, you'll hit a wall. It's hard apex. You didn't have an apical on this, did you? Okay.
I got one.
And then once this measurement check out, then we can kind of start going a little bit quicker.
You said there's no contraindications on a resorbing tooth as far as socket shield.
No, it's actually a good case for it. It's actually one of the better because resorption usually ends with ankylosis too, and so it's just an ideal. You might still have some resorption. Like I might have been in over a year and it doesn't feel right yet. I can still feel that same resorption going on, and it may be that socket shield is still resorbing a little bit, but it's resorbing and being replaced with bone. So it's really just like a scaffolding. That's why sometimes when I see resorption, especially external resorption, I don't do anything with it. I just like let that, it's a free bone graft. Like people are like, oh, I gotta get the tooth out. I'm like, no, just wait until it's loose, right? And it just, as the root gets resorbed, it's being replaced with bone, and it's like a free bone graft in the end.
When you say, go ahead.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, my number 8 got knocked out during dental school, so I'm always thinking about that.
You're waiting for this, huh?
Just waiting for the resorption to happen, and it never.
Let's go one more, a little bit higher.
You can do it. Tell me how it is. We'll stay in contact.
I'm sorry to say that. When you say it doesn't feel right to you, what do you mean by that?
Like when a resorbed tooth and ankles can come up a little bit higher. There we go. Okay. You can feel the resorption. It's like a weird sensation. It's not like pain, but sometimes you can feel the resorption going on. Like it's like a low-grade inflammation. But I don't have like bleeding or, you know, probing issues like you did with the tooth. Okay, so when we look at this, it looks like we're not quite at the apex, but it's starting to veer over into dentin, right? And so that's why I'm hitting a rock. So I know I need to change the angulation to the mesial a bit there.
Doing alright, Doc?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Make it bigger.
Yeah, do you want to double click on that and make it big for them? Okay, so we're there. I took my measurement based on what off the cone beam, so I know I got this far to go. I still have this far to go. So I've got the room. It's just starting to veer down that. It's a tight canal down there. You know, maybe they broke a file there. Maybe it's just harder denting. So I could stop here and do these lateral cuts and then just get this out when I'm doing my cleaning. But I'm just going to veer and just get that last little bit. And that's, I'm going to have to veer to the mesial. I think this is the central, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
8 between go 4 7.
Yeah. There we go. I feel it starting to go now. There we go. Yeah. And now I'm down to my depth that I had pre-measured on the cone beam, and I'm right there. So I know I don't need to take another PA, but I know if we did, it would probably be right in that space, and it looks really good now. I'm just gonna.
So Doc, when you're holding the mirror, it's blocking.
Oh, sorry. So I'm down to depth now. I'm level here. I'm just kind of filling that space out a bit. If you go out his apex a little bit, no big deal because his didn't go out the facial plate at all. But there. So that's to me, I've got my post space all cleaned out. I've got a little bit of gutta percha right here, but that's going to come out when I do my shaping. So.
Yeah, if you need more anesthetic, just raise your left hand, right?
Okay, so that's really the big step now. I'm just going to go in and make my, this is a high speed.
If the roots are ankylosed, it'll be hard to elevate out, right?
Yes, in fact, that distal root might be, by the time I break into little pieces and drill my post space, it is mostly about obliterating it than it is about extracting it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's ankylosed and then there's partially ankylosed. I'm not sure where his is, but we're going to get it out. Okay, so I can now go to the apex, and I'm at the apex, and as I cut, I'm going to make a lateral slice right to there, and a lateral slice right to here. So I'm going to step on this, and I'm going to, as I move up the tooth, try and go through the dentin, and then go back here and start at the apex, and as I come, do some slicing this way. So go back to the apex, start down there. And sometimes you can feel yourself going through the dentin into the bone, so you know when you've broken through into the PDL space. So let's section there. You can look at that and start to see the lateral cuts. I don't know if any of you can see that. Yeah. Let me look with my light so I can see how close I am. Yeah, I do need to go a little bit more. I was just... a little closer. Almost through the bone. It's harder to tell on the distal because that was that granulation tissue and it was kind of resorbed a little bit, so it's hard to go by feel. So I'm just making sure I'm not pushing too hard to not ending up in the bone. All right, so after you do that, then we can go to see if we can elevate that palatal root. So at this point, I'll come here, and if the tooth wasn't ankylosed, you'd probably be able to see some of this palatal root elevate out, but he's got some resorption here on the palate actually. And it's pretty mushy up here, because this is where he said he had that resorption kind of coming through on the palatal. So normally you'd be able to just go like this and wiggle out this palatal part, but because that's where his perforation was and kind of granulation tissue, I think I'm going to have to mostly just remove that palatal bone. And it's fine. Probably when I go to do the implant drills, it'll get lots of it out, but you're probably on his case, because of the lingual perforation, the resorption, you're not going to see a lot of it. So I'm just going to go in here and just kind of clean out some of the dentin.
It's completely ankylosed on the palatal.
Yep.
Like that one case you showed us where they leave some on the palatal and it doesn't really matter. Right?
Yeah. I want to get most of it out though. And now I can see I've got most of it out. Okay. So then we can go to start using some of the shaping burrs, like smaller ones like this, and going and just getting any last little bit of gutta percha that might be, or any dark tissue that looks to me like it's palatal, like it's pulpal tissue I want out. Because of his resorption, I'm doing a little bit more shaping than I normally would, just to get, because it's not like a smooth inside of the root. It had all these perforations coming out, and it's not. Last little bit of gutta percha still there. So I've gotten a significant amount of the lingual root out. Again, because it was ankylosed, it wouldn't just elevate out. Okay. Now I'm just gonna use this burr that they have, and it's kind of a shaper that I can go down and just kind of make my a nice C shape. I actually prefer those little round ones. They're just a little bit faster and efficient, but this is just a little bit slower speed, a little bit safer. Not running a high speed down there as much.
How thick of a shield do you want to use?
So anywhere from 1 to 3 millimeters is fine. And I'm at about 3 millimeters, so I'm just really going to shape it back a little bit more.
You're bringing it on the shield right now?
No, I'm not doing anything vertically with the shield yet. I'm just thinning it so that in the end the shield's very thin, and then I have a gap space to graft. But this is thinning out quite nicely. Okay, I'm just going to do a last little bit of shaping, then I'll show you how we vertically move it. and then we'll drop the implant in. You'll see this will be, this is actually the biggest part of the procedure. It's just all the shaping that goes on. I'm going to take a little bit bigger one in here. And just shape it top to bottom really good.
Are you using apical or you're
I'm going right to the apex and just kind of, like I said, I find that that other burr is just slower. This one's a little bit faster. So when you have granulation tissue, you have all these perforations in here, and I just want to get rid of any of them, just to stop that process as much. There's a little lateral canal down here that had a little bit of gutta percha in it, and so I'm just kind of shaping that in a little bit. But I think we're good with. Okay. So if anyone wants to come suction there and have a peek, you can see.
Wait, as you're working in there, can you see that everything is physically gone?
Yeah, so
There's just so much inflammation and bleeding.
now that I've been like grinding it all, I've got most of the granulation tissue away, which is where a lot of the bleeding is. It feels good. Yeah, I can start, it's starting to like hold, and I can see a little bit better in there. I don't know if we can tilt back and let me see how if I can shine a light down there and see if it makes I don't know. Okay, there I am. Oh yeah, probably doesn't, that angle. But if anyone wants to peek in, he can suction there and I can shine the light. But it looks just kind of like we did with the pictures.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Now I'm gonna feel, if you remember, there were a couple spots in there that I was worried about on the, on the x-ray. It kind of showed like, almost like some bone loss over through here. So I'm just kind of feeling here just to make sure there's not like some crazy defect in. There isn't. It feels like nice and smooth through there. You know, okay. All right, so now we drop it vertically. So we use these safe-sided burrs. So this is that.
What's the pin for?
So this is just guides. It goes on the inside of your shield, and that way you are riding the shield, and it's about like 2-3 millimeters. So you know you're not burring up your tissue. It's only guiding on this end. So it's made to go on the inside like this. And then it's like that. And so there's some markers there. You know, like the one that's like 3 millimeters, so you can know how deep. Because remember, you know, you want to go a couple millimeters below the gingiva because that's where the level of the bone is. I actually don't know where the level of his bone is on this because I'm not going to flap it. But I'm just assuming it is where. So this one goes here on the safe side, and it grinds vertically.
With his gingival discrepancy, would you do this any different? What you're doing right now?
I'm not going as deep because I'm actually going to bring the tissue up. So at the end of the day, that thing's going to be 3 millimeters below. So you can see now it's kind of vertically grinding that down. So now that is like here, I've got, you know, I'm below the gums now with it. In fact, I can go a little further. This would be a good time, like, I might take a photo. If Josh is anywhere, he can bring his camera.
Run and get it?
Yeah, tell him I want a photo of this. All right, so now I don't have any roots sticking up high, so I'm not worried about root poking through the gum tissue or anything. I know I've gone down about 2 millimeters, and it's out of the way. So now you can see that tissue. It can actually kind of push over like that and grow over, and that's what I was wanting on that. So vertically, that's good. Then there's one other burr that lets you kind of slope that. So let's this one goes in here and it'll just kind of shape this a bit more.
That's the same thing?
Yeah, it's just not safe side. It's actually meant to go in the on this side of it. Okay, so my socket shield's done. I've got it below the bone there, or below the gums, probably level with the bone. Again, since it's a kind of a blind procedure, I don't know if I'm to the level of the bone or above. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna bring, it's gonna act like some scaffolding here for me. It feels good. I probably still have a little bit of lingual tooth structure down there, but that's gonna come out when I start drilling my osteotomy. And then this tissue is going to come up hopefully to about here, so I'm going to try and graft that kind of difference right there, that little bit of gap. Yeah, it might be a good photo. I've got the shield kind of down. If we got, I don't know if you can get in from there or if you can see it or need a mirror.
So can I get this small section? Since I know our patient, I am going to put my forearm on his chest. When Wade was taking my front tooth, he had to get his elbow up on my chest.
Can you see the shield on the inside on that one? Okay.
Oh, this one. Or take a perio probe and hold it out. There you go. And then section, yeah. Yeah, just like that. Let me do one more.
Okay.
Chris, you're doing great. Appreciate you.
And I'm going to take a little bit of just take any of this granulation tissue out, but you can see it okay in that?
Yeah, you can see the bone and the...
Does it look good, or do I need to?
No, it looks good.
All right. Okay.
Someone was just trying to tell me the iPhone picture was just as good, and I was like,
But then yeah.
You laugh.
hold the phone.
He said, calm down.
Literally hold the phone.
Yeah. Check yourself. Okay. So my plan is for a 4-2 by 15. So
Do you need that? Do you have?
I think, yeah, I've got one here. Remind me where the 15 is. Okay. So my mark 15 is the bottom of this. Right there. So I'm going to want that to be, normally we want about 3-4 millimeters apical to our desired gingiva margin. So it might only end up being like a couple millimeters sub G, but I'm going to get that in there. Again, I'm going to hug the palate based on our plan. This is where you could snap in a guide if you wanted to. Now I'm actually not getting like apical bone grabbing me till about there, so primary stability is going to be a challenge on this one for sure, but okay, we'll see how it does.
So you're grabbing the palatal.
Yep, we're definitely grabbing palatal as much as we can, because with that much granulation tissue, you know, I want to be able to. We also might, This will probably be my last drill because I will significantly undersize this because I'm trying to get stability. But like I said, if we don't, it's okay. I've got a Maryland bridge for him, and we'll do a custom healing abutment.
What's your drill size right now?
Huh?
What's your drill size right now?
3-2.
3-2?
Okay, that's in there. Okay, let's take a PA, see where we are on this, and then come about this angle.
Get the apex in there. Miss it just a little bit.
No, that's okay. Okay, so I say 4-2 by 15. Is that our plan? Okay. You could always do it 18, but we're gonna go with this. See what kind of engagement we get here. And remember, we plan for a possibility if we don't get good torque on it. So. And this is one I'm always worried about, just because around resorption, sometimes the bone's a little bit mushy around these.
What's the implant system?
Because the surrounding bone is always, it's kind of going through that resorption phase, and so we're gonna see what kind of stability we grab on this. This is a tapered pro. So I'm really gonna hug that palatal tissue wall, trying to grab.
You're at 5, 7, 8, 10. 10. Maxed out 12.
I'm not at my full depth. I can go a little further. So let's go in the section there. So that's like level with the gum tissue. So I want to be a couple millimeters deeper.
15, 17, 20. 19. Maxed out 19.
Let me see where that level is. Go in the section in there. Well, I think I still want to go a little deeper. Actually, so maybe those last through few threads we're getting the grab we want. Hold on, it's not in yet. Okay, now we'll go.
15, 20, maxed out 22. Maxed out 22.
Okay.
Hand drive it down?
Let's see if I can get a little more. Hand drive it and see. I still feel like it can go a little bit deeper. It doesn't seem to be going much deeper though.
I think we have a ratchet extending the teeth. Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting pretty good grab now. Okay, go in section there. All right, so let me look at my position there. It felt fairly stable. The fact that his bite is out of occlusion makes me think I wanna try. And then low, but I'll go through and make at least a temporary and see where we end up. Where's my probe here? 1 sec.
Feels pretty secure, right? More than.
Yeah, it went in good. And I do think that's about the position I'm going to want it. Where did I throw my driver? Did I put it back here?
Is your probe right there? Oh, there it is.
There it is. Hiding. Okay. So I'm going to measure here. I'm about, my desired gingival margin's here. So I want to be about 3 from that. And I'm about 2. I can actually even go a little bit further. Where did I put my driver?
Right here. Oh, the other one?
It's hiding.
Always. Yeah, what are you at now?
I can go just a smidge. All right, I did that, and that just gave me a little bit more tighter grab. So no, I like that position. I think that position will work. It'll certainly. Yeah, you want me to show the probe?
Yeah.
Let me just double check this.
You checked how much your torque is with the.
I can usually tell by hand. I've done enough that I. So here I'm about 3 to 4 millimeters sub on the crestal. Here's where I want to be, and you see that gingival margin's probably like a millimeter defective, and I'm right there. So I'm about 3 millimeters from this, so about 4 from my desired. So I want to be on the 4 to 5 range because I'm palatal, right? If I was facial, not, but yeah, I'm even actually just going to give it one more little turn and see. Because I'm getting better stability as I do these last few turns. And yeah.
Where are you at in relation to the tooth as well as the relation to the bone?
So I'm on the palate. I'm maybe I'm 1 millimeter sub of my socket shield right here. I can even just move away, and you guys can actually see pretty good if you want to walk in there and have a peek.
Because it's palatal, you can go deeper.
You want to, because remember that emergence profile. If you're close to the buccal plate, 3 is great. If you're palatal, you want that convexity before you go, or that concave before you flare out. So you tend to err. If I could probably, I don't want to go deeper than this because it's a biohorizons, and so my emergence profile will be a little. You could, yeah. Like a neodent, you can sink those deep. Strawman too, but no, I've got exactly where I want to be. So it tells me, like, that gives me, if you look at right here, here's where my, I want my gingival margin. So you can see that implant relative to that has got room for bone and tissue to grow in. So I think it's ideal. I don't want to do anything more. Okay, so let's talk about, say we didn't get torque, right? If we didn't torque out, and we wanted to make a custom healing abutment. So if we didn't torque out, and I've got, where's my Maryland bridges? Are they sitting over there?
Yes.
Let me grab those.
You doing alright, Chris? Okay. I'd offer you a blanket, but it's actually pretty hot in here.
So I designed and had these 3D printed. So if we didn't torque out, I would take this Maryland bridge, I'd try it in, I'd probably bond it to the adjacent teeth, right, like this, and shape and trim and polish it up a little bit. But then you can see, if he tilts his head down a little bit, you can see the gap there. And then I would just make sure my custom healing abutment came up there and it filled the gap space, right? I also did the same design with this. So if his own tooth didn't work, I could stick the temporary post in there, hollow this out a little bit, and use this as his temporary, right? Or I could use his existing tooth. So that's kind of a couple different ways to temporize this. I got some good torque there, so I want to do a temp, but first I'm going to show you kind of how I would do a custom temporary that would help support this tissue. This driver is short. Is there a restorative kit that's got a little bit longer driver? This almost isn't quite long enough to reach that. Almost.
Is that a 10?
Yeah, this is a, see if there's a longer driver in there. Is that long?
That's the shorty. That's the
Oh,
long one.
yeah, that's right. I gotta get the long one. So if I was baking, I'd put that on, and then I'd take the flowable composite, and he grabbed the curing light.
Do you have a peak version of this?
Yep, you could do it with peak too. I'm actually gonna do his temp with peak. And you would flow this out. Go ahead and cure that.
Can your assistant do this part?
Yeah, but
Do you enjoy doing this part?
I'm just going right up to the where it hits the tissue. Okay, hear that?
How much of it is you can delegate?
As much as it is you're comfortable with. My assistant used to place implants, suture, and bone graft, do sinus lifts, so whatever you want to delegate. Before she went to dental school, I'd hold the sinus open, she'd squirt the bone in and pack it in, and then I'd start at one end of the arch, she'd start at the other, and she'd start suturing, and we meet at the mid, you know.
Frustrating 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Pouring up models.
Yeah.
She's already seen the other side. It's worse.
Hopefully you taught her how to carve an album.
Yeah, totally. Right, so that kind of is the socket, and then you'll clean this off. You can take this, and you can start shaping it. You know, wrapping around it a little bit more to shape it a little bit more. This is kind of a not that crazy of a one, but
How far apical will you carry it?
I'll go down to the margin like this. Have them cure it. This one is actually a pretty small space, so it'll be kind of pretty straightforward to do. But
You're just making it even?
yeah, so I know the rim around the edge, and then I'm just going to take, like, say, like a diamond burr. Well, you'll cut this off, but you'll want to go then, and this is your facial part. You want to go and kind of make that concave, convex part here. That's not the right one I want. This. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. It's kind of pretty straightforward. But you just want to shape the emergence on this so it doesn't hit. You know, his socket is shaped such that you almost could have used a stock healing abutment here. But I'm just creating that emergence profile that I was talking about on the facial portion. It has that like convex part, so it's like that. You've made that convex so it will sit in here like this. Then you'll lop it off at the top here and shave it down, you know, and smooth some of these. But you really just want, this is the facial portion. So I really just spend some time making sure I'm not touching got room for soft tissue for the PRF, soft tissue growth in here. It's basically almost like it wants to go in here and seal right like that. But there's this space for the bone to fill in right here.
It shouldn't blanch your tissue?
Nope, you don't want any blanch tissue. That's why I put it in and glued it right to the tissue. So I know it's right there, so it's not going to blanch the tissue. Right, I added a little bit more around the lingual, so it might blanch the lingual a little bit. But you basically do that, cut it off at the gum line right here, and then you sit that in, and that will shape and hold it safe. It's the same concept I'm going to use on his temporary right now. So on his temporary,
And are you doing that on posterior implants that you don't weld right away too?
a custom healing abutment so a premolar, typically a stock healing abutment fits a premolar pretty well. Some molars, a wide one will fit. I actually find on immediate molars, I like a custom because it creates a little better, but you also run the risk of them being able to chew on it, right? And so I'm not a huge fan of custom in the back, right? Because I also like to bury some of those implants, scan at the time of surgery, have the crown designed with the perfect emergence, bury the implant, let it just sleep, and then make an incision and uncover it and stick my final crown in 3-4 months later at healing. And now my crown is my custom healing abutment and my final, because the tissue will just shape around that.
Oh, nice.
So it makes it like I scan at the time of surgery, and then the next time I see them, really for anything other than a follow-up, is to open up the tissue and see the crown, you know.
You scan
And
after you extract?
yeah, I scan the day of surgery when I place the implant. So, and I actually have the crown made and it's ready to go. And it sits in my, cupboard for 3 months.
So you don't have to go to ideal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just saves you a visit.
I mean,
It's a pretty confident move.
What?
It's a confident move.
Well, what's the worst case scenario? You made a crown, you uncover it, and the implant didn't crown, and you're out of crown and abutment. You have a CEREC machine, what are you out of? Hardly anything, right? If you do it yourself, But fortunately, your failures are few and far between, right? All right, so.
Did you want that sticky bone made?
Oh, yeah. So this is a peak abutment. I'm choosing to use a peak abutment on this because it gives me a little bit of flex. Just got to make sure it seats all the way.
no, it's okay. The other abutment, it was just the
Titanium. Peak is just a little bit more forgiving. But yeah, I guess it is a little bit of a ballsy move. You might lose a crown here or there. But I think T-Bone taught me that.
He did.
I think
he's
he's
been wanting to do that for years because he doesn't want that. He wants to place that implant button and then remove it.
Yeah, you get better connective tissue, and we make a custom healing abutment, and they always work, and they always create great tissue. Then we take it out and put another one in. Why not? So why not just your crown is the best healing abutment?
He's been trying to go for two visits.
Yeah, he does it for efficiency because it's quicker and easier. I do it just because it makes sense to me. Like, you get to bury your implants, so they're higher success rate. You stick healing abutments on implants and they're higher failure rate in certain places, especially on an immediate molar. I want to bury it, and then I get all this connective tissue growing over it. So it's like a free gum graft, and then when I uncover it, I just push it and I screw it down into this bloody field, torque it in, and I sometimes don't even put a stitch. I just leave the tissue pushed there, it kind of squishes it, and it's the best. It's actually some of my best looking posterior crowns is when I do it that way.
Dr. Billy, do you want me to save you some memory?
2.
Save the 2 memory.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we're using a peak abutment. We're coming out the palate, kind of like we thought we would. I'm going to take so I've got a couple options here. I could take my Maryland bridge that I made and maybe hog it out a little bit more and seat it. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to use his existing tooth, which, there we go. Did someone take it? So. Do we have any bond?
Yes.
Oh, good. So because this was a veneer, his lingual kind of got boogered out. So I'm really going to try and find out how to seat this in there and then just glue and pick it up and make a screw retain crown out of his own tooth. There's some of his own enamel here, so we're going to...
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And then once I've got this made, we'll start doing connective tissue grafting and bone, and he'll be good. So I can almost get this one back to where he had before. That's right there. And he's not a deep bite. In fact, I don't even think he had occlusion on this, so he's a good candidate for immediate load.
And he'll probably be compliant.
He better be. But my experience is dentists are the least compliant.
Can you place that matter?
Can what?
Can you place it on a lingual?
The implant?
No. The,
This?
yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, because it was sticking out?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get it back on mine. I'm trying to... let's see, does it look like it's more in line like that? I guess that's a win.
It's delayed.
I think I can get it in a little bit better. Yeah. Well, you put all this glue in between. That's what I'm kind of doing. There's some flex from the adjacent teeth that I like to keep off of them. So what do you think? Does that feel like it's more? There we go. That's more in line right there. Yeah. So I could glue. Yeah, that looks
nice.
looks good. Looks like it would fit. Okay. I want to try my. Actually gonna cut the lingual out of this one.
Do you think you need to cut the teeth back at all on the facial to seat it, or do you find out that?
Cut back what?
Will you ever cut the teeth cylinder a little bit, like on the facial to get it?
You can.
Yeah.
This one was I stunk it lingual enough. If you go a little bit too facial, I've had to do that. The cutting peak sucks. It's more like it melts it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not as smooth. All right, so we can use his existing veneer, or I've got my, temporary. I might have to get it to fit, have to trim a little bit more, but it doesn't quite go down. Maybe I can probably force it down, but this if you trim it a little bit more, we could seat it down, and this acts as like kind of a little bit of a seating jig, the Maryland bridge part of it, and I'd put it in there and float. But I'm actually going to go with his existing tooth
Oh, you leave
first.
the wings till you're all done.
Yeah,
Or
it's mostly just to
seat it.
seat it. I could cut them off, and it actually might help me seat on this a little bit better. But I'll give it one more chance. If not, I'll just go with his. I'm going to use his existing tooth anyway. But you don't have to get the Maryland. I had printed two, one with the wings, one without. So the one that had the hole in it, with the holes, I really don't need the wings, because that one is just more of like to help seat it so that I know I'm in the right place, like right there.
Oh yeah.
I could hold that right there, and I could just seat that, and glue it. So maybe I'll make them two, but that's one option right there. So we can pick that up.
Nice.
But I think his own veneer might be the better option. So let's go ahead and prepare that one. Do we have some bonding?
Yeah, isn't that well?
Okay. I'm just going to put a little bond on the tooth part.
You want to cure that as well?
Yeah. Okay. And let's rinse this out a little bit. Yeah, probably.
At what point do you graft? Do you do this
I'll do it probably.
after you finish?
Yeah, probably once I'm done with this, I'll put a cover screw in there and get a little bit of bone on there. So I'm going to sit this back right there where I felt we wanted it. And then you're going to grab the curing light for me. So, again, I usually will scan this and 3D print something, but I'm just going to get this tooth right where I want. I'm going to place some flowable in here. Okay, go ahead and cure that. Go up a little bit, there we go. Okay, let me do a little bit more. All right, cure that. And then we'll see how that lined up. Okay, so I've got that on there. Now I can just start doing flowable and actually shaping it like a crown on the bench. So I'll hold that off here for a minute and I'll come and do that at the end. So now I'm going to shift gears and we're going to get some bone on this. If Josh was here, I'd make him do the crown, but he's probably hiding somewhere. Okay, so implants in. Let's, I'm going to put the cover screw on just so that I don't get any bone down in there when I'm placing. Now I'm just going to graft the gap. So then we'll go to soft tissue and
What do you need, Doug?
my perio probe. I keep hiding it.
You do?
Keeps running away from me. Okay, going. So it's not a huge gap, but I can probably still get, some chips down here on the facial. So go ahead and give me a little bit of that. Tilt your head back just a bit. Okay. Sometimes in the gap so small it will just fill in with bone on its own, but I like to have a space, something in there. Okay.
Do you ever add a little bit of bone before and then place your
Sometimes. Sometimes I find that like wedges me out of my osteotomy too. I've had, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it can actually help you because if you're low torque, you can put it in. It helps kind of wedge some things in there. All right, so that's probably all the bone I'll need. This gap was quite minimal. Okay. All right, any questions so far? Ready to see the gum graft? Does anyone think they could make me a really nice temp? With some flowable and a... Yeah, there really wasn't much gap to... Okay. So in this situation, I'm going to prepare Next, I'm going to tunnel through here and just prepare the pouch here. I may make a little releasing incision up here potentially, depending on how loose the tissue comes. Sometimes that little releasing incision up here helps it pull down. I think it's called a Tarnow procedure. But yeah, I'm just getting as much bone in there as I can. That gap. And I chose cancellous chips, I think. Is that what we chose? So we get some small, yeah, I wanted some smaller chips.
If you had to, would you ever like just put bone putty in there?
Sure, yeah. Bone putty can help too. All right, so next step is let's continue our tunnel up in there. Actually, I might just use this. So here I'm going to go on the outside of our shield, and I'm going to try to, I probably might take a little semi-lunar incision up here. So
15C if you wanted to.
this will be good.
I think you're blocking the view with your headlamp.
Okay. All right, so make a little incision there. Then you can come in with an Orban knife or we can tunnel up to our site. I'm going to go fan out a little bit there.
Read the email. Step to the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So fan out a little bit. Just you want this tissue to be able to get a little bit looser and pull up over. Coming up here.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
weird. It's throwing me off.
Not very live.
Oh, is that why?
That's 100% live. That's the output from the That's
Oh, there's a live YouTube stream.
Yeah, evidently like
So kind of tunneling under here.
and here live. This is not.
Could somebody be on YouTube watching?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only with the link, so it's a private stream.
Private YouTube stream.
Anyone, I guess that's not the
Are you
link.
doing this from the
I've heard of websites like that.
just because you don't want to disturb that socket shield?
Yeah. It's just it's easier I think to come under. Less chance of tearing. It's really easy to tear from going. So I'm gonna kind of.
It's like when you're
When you do this, you kind of undermine the pillow a little bit.
Score a touchdown, you want to before it happens.
Thought you'd-
I was over in the classroom, but then I had to go see a patient in 111.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, if someone wants to,
I can go make it if you want to.
if you want to put some flowable composite on this, so I bonded his tooth on.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of can see here the emergence on it.
Let's see.
Where would it go? It's tricky for me to get down in, but a little bit deeper than that. But give me some pretty convex. So it's almost like a cylinder, and then flares out. On the palatal, don't get too thick either. Interproximally, don't go any wider than this because he kind of binds there. So he's going to make us a really nice temporary, and then we'll put it in. So,
I'm gonna go do it in the lab. I'll be back.
all right. But I'm just undermining. I want this tissue to be able to see how it's loose now. I want to be able to suture it up there, put connective tissue in there, thicken it up, and have it stay. So it's just a little delicate here, so I just want to be generally pretty careful as I undermine that area. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So this is generally, if you want to do it this way or if you want to do it from the sulcus tomorrow on your patient, choose either way. I'm fine with either. Okay, so that's pretty loose. That's really all I need at this point. Okay, so now we're going to harvest tissue. Let me.
Fisher punch?
No, just the The scalpel's fine. So I got to give him some more anesthetic up there. I didn't give any really on the palate up there, so I'll take it from his left side because we're probably going to be doing the tunnel here on his lower left as well. So. How many of you have done a palatal harvest before? None?
For free gingival.
For free gingival, but not the, okay. Yeah, I'll show you the connective tissue way. It's, you leave the tissue. Sometimes, some people just like it's too problematic. You could actually just take a free gingival graft and cut the epithelium off, but then you just have a bigger wound to deal with.
That's not as fun.
Yeah, you can do it that way. Your patients will appreciate this other way a little bit better.
Do you feel it's easier to do it one side versus the other?
Well, since I'm going to likely be doing a connective tissue graft on his lower left around this implant, I just would rather give him, and this tooth on the left, he'll have a good right side to chew with. All right, so that should be good. Okay. All right.
You're doing great, Chris.
Okay, I'm gonna get you numb on the bottom next. And then it's go time because that palate gets numb fast. Okay, go one. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice deep breath. In through your nose.
And I'm gonna do kind of a long buckle and just infiltration here. He's got really good bone down here. He's got like a tori almost. Actually, it is a tori, exostosis. That's where that crossbite is. I wonder if your clenching or grinding in there has caused that. Have you noticed that down there? You don't know? Okay. All right, last needle stick.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the sedation? All right, so this area up here, it's all ready to receive the graft. So now I'm going to come up here, and I want to be about 3 millimeters away from the gingival margin. And if you want to like really pay attention to the size, you could always take something like this. You know, and we can look at that and be like, okay, I need about that much for this one, and I need about that much for this one. So you know that's about the size you want. So you can actually even like lay this up here, and it gives you an idea.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? If you really want to, you kind of learn to eyeball it a little bit.
This is a fresh 15C.
But I'll be honest, I eyeball it sometimes, and you always come up short, especially early on, because you're nervous about taking as much. So I'll just put this right here, so I know the size I want. So then I'll come up to this. Oops, let's hold this thing. Okay, so I know I'm going from about here to here. So Just gonna get on that. Take it up to there. So that's really all I need right there, is that initial line. So when I'm right there, I think it's easier, in my opinion, to give yourself like what's called a trap door. So I'll basically make a cut here, okay? So it's like a little trap door, barn door to swing out. And then I know I've got the length.
How deep are you going?
I'm going to the bone. I'm going full right here, okay? Then you can actually start back here, and you kind of, this is where you do the partial thickness through these. I will sometimes start to elevate these a little bit. So I'll come up here and I'll,
So right now your goal to reflect all the way to bone, then you're taking a little piece, then finger that.
yeah, I'm gonna take an internal piece. And so we have a periosteal elevator in this kit.
Periosteal elevator does not come in this kit.
You grab me one? Okay. Sometimes I like to use that, but then I'll take my scalpel, and you're really gonna be, this is where the trick comes in, is trying to do partial thickness here. So, because I wanna just fillet this top piece. So I kind of get here and just kind of do a little bit of, you can see that I'm kind of going partial thickness here. It gets a little tricky. Sometimes I'll switch back and elevate some of this tissue off a little bit.
Did you only do a trapdoor on the front?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it on the back too. I just find that the more you do, the more difficult it is for the patient healing wise. Okay, so I've got that front pulled up a bit. So I'll grab this one. So what I want you to do is I want you to see this. So see how thick this is? Okay. So you see how thick this? I want to basically cut right here to keep the epithelium up. It's tricky, right? So I'm gonna do a little bit and then stop so you can kind of see. So it's hard to do it without. So you can see there I'm kind of splitting. This is what I want, this is what I'm leaving. So the trick is to go across this whole thing. I kind of have to change my angle a little bit here. I usually, and you'll go through a couple of blades sometimes. And then I'll have you suction in there.
Suction or dab it?
You can dab.
That's what he said, the two trapdoors you can. But it's not
So I'm gonna just slowly work this partial thickness flap through here.
I have a new blade ready for you, Doc.
Yep, I'll want it here. So once I get this a little bit further, I'll have you'll be able to take a look and see. Okay, so see there, I've got this kind of dab there. So this is what I'm working on. I'm trying to keep that, and I'm going to harvest this. So okay, switch blades.
New blade?
So just continuing to go kind of partial thickness on this. Section there. So you see, this is what I'm keeping. This is what I'm going to be taking. So it'll kind of, I'll stop here in a minute and give you a little better view. Okay, so that's my trap door. This guy right here, this piece of tissue is what I'm going to be pulling out. So now I'm going to go back to here, and I can go back and do more. Where'd my Perios elevator go? There we go.
Good done?
Here, I'll grab it.
I was trying to get more 15 fingers.
Oh, I'm okay with that one. I've done the precision cutting I need. I'm just trying to blunt dissection it out right now. Okay. You can just start getting a good dab in here now. Yep. Okay. Good. Just peeling it back.
Sometimes, yeah, I get bacteria.
Oh yeah, there's pallets always bleed pretty good until you put a little pressure on them. Okay, so I think this is pretty good here. It's almost out.
You close the pallet then right away?
Yeah, the first thing I do once I pull this out is I just address the palatal pressure.
Wade, what's their post-op discomfort difference when you close the palatal bag over with primary closure versus when you take and harvest with the epithelium touch?
They prefer this by far.
Yeah, I'm sure, but is it like a significant difference?
Yes, in my opinion.
What's that?
In my opinion, it's pretty significant.
Okay.
You put GRF down there?
Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put this graft over here. Okay, so we've got the graft out, and now I'll put it over here to see. So we got a pretty decent amount there. There's a little epithelium right here that came with it, so I'm just gonna trim that off. It's fine. But that's our pretty good side. So I'm gonna cut it right here and use this in the front, and then I'll place this back subepithelial on the bottom left. So that's kind of how you take it. Now we'll just work on. So anytime you take posterior palate, right there, that greater palatine, you just give it good pressure. I always tell patients, I send them home with gauze, I'm like, there's always a possibility you might, burst a blood vessel later and it'll bleed, and if it bleeds really fast, just put some pressure up there for a couple minutes, it stops right away. Pressure in an ice cube, but yeah, hits with a little bit of pressure stopped pretty quick. And that trap door I can just suture back over. I can even stuck a little piece of PRF in there if we wanted to.
Are you ever worried about the thinness of the epithelium that's left and necrosis or anything?
Sure. Yeah. But if you're laying it down on a bleeding wound bend, it's probably fine. The only time I've ever had palatal necrosis from a graft is a really big pedicle graft.
Put a new piece of glass on it.
Where I've done some, significant pedicle grafting. Yep, it's pain. Just pain and wait it out. All right. Okay, so I broke that up into 2 pieces, and where's our? This. Okay, so I would actually like, well, I'm gonna slide the graft in there just and lightly secure it, and then I might do another suture after we get the temporary in. So, okay. So my suturing on this is I'm gonna come from the pallet. And then this is where I'm gonna try and go down through between my through here. Nope. Might actually throw it through reverse style.
Yeah, and then now Roseman, the house, 3 years. Salt Lake? Okay. Went out 3 years. It's like the guy from the university. What do you want to do? I think I'm going to do Roseman, get out and
Head lamps in the lamps.
Okay.
Hey, will you try that in for me? Just let me know. Can I look at it so I can see what the contours like and see what I need to change?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's 3 years.
So unscrew that.
Yeah. I like ski. And mountain bike. It's crazy. Well, like Salt Lake. They're all
So I'm gonna be able to run this through the graft and then pull it back through. So, you want us to try that in?
Yeah, I just want to see the contour and see where I need to add.
Okay.
It's never perfect the first time.
Heavy section on here. Get rid of any little bone graft pieces that might be there. Go on the section again. Okay.
Head is also really
Yes.
good. So I have 398, 22. Yeah. And had applied to applied to 13 schools, except for the 2 so far. Yeah. So 13. And I had friends who had like 8 men's schools, 4-0, 5.
There's a little cover screw in there. Let me get it out.
And it's not bad. I looked up.
Okay. Like that.
It's a policy. You have to apply where you should. Yeah. Part of it's yes, but I haven't heard of anything yet. No, but I'm sure it's like
Okay.
impromptu rejection.
So we're gonna try it in the temp.
So now, I mean, you can take
I think the contours are pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad for a total guess.
First time. You said it never works on the
Yeah, yeah.
Stop doing surgery and
Just do anterior tabs.
I like it.
Okay, cool. So you can just use it like that then.
Do we have any more opacious flowable?
That I couldn't. I just used what we had over here. There's not a great selection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me can you see it now?
Everyone from undergrad.
I just think the translucency on that.
It's too translucent.
But I don't know if-
online, but
I
I
don't-
don't know that we have another.
Okay. Let me get this sutured. Okay, so let me see the graft.
Do you want me to go see if I can find a different one and switch it out a
Yeah.
little bit?
Just like a tiny little layer on the facial, carve
You want
back
the
or
cover
something.
screw back on? Or?
No, I'm okay. I want the graft right there.
I'm so sorry to. You went from the palatal and then through the opening.
So I went through the palatal, and I came down through and out the opening right here. Okay. So now he's gonna bring me the graft. Just bring me the. It's right here. Sorry, the gum graft. So I'm gonna suture through this. And go through it.
she was typing it for Andy, and then I didn't end up finding it, but
But sounds like you have two good options.
yeah.
You know, here, so you're
Take the screen.
here as you go.
Yeah. Well, I thought because I'm working here for the students. Yeah.
Come back through that.
I don't know. It's crazy.
It's a game,
Yeah.
because it's probably very different than when I applied in 2013. I would have applied in person. I graduated in 2017. That's cool.
All right, so, oops, let's grab. Okay,
It's crazy. I don't know.
so now I've got the graft on that, and now I'm gonna funnel this up, back up through here, like that. Okay, it's approximated. I'm gonna put this suture on the.
You gotta be the smartest kid in that school to get that.
This is a great profession.
To get that.
Get involved.
Yeah.
This is what
More fun. You can do that without having to be
Okay.
selective.
So now I've got this in, and I'm gonna use this to tug on my graft just a little bit here. So I want to get this kind of situated here. Just kind of.
and we get to own a business if we want to.
You got your headset.
There we go. So you can see, I'm just giving a little bit of light pressure and it's kind of holding that thing. Right, and having this support to do. So see how it just pulled in there?
Yeah.
Right? I got a little pressure on it. You know, I can lay it out a little bit better there. But that's going to help that tissue, I think, stay up a little bit nicer there. So it's going to be supported. Just kind of laying it out in there so it's nice and flat. And then I'll suture that tight. And then we can put the temp on it, close that up, and then this bottom graft, it'll be real quick. I'll show you how I treat those.
So is that graft solely on the facial?
Yes. Yeah, I just ran the sutures to the palate just to hold it there. Okay. Okay, clip that. This is, no, this is the, it's like a PGL, yeah.
Sorry, say that.
I'll use polypropylene for like alloderm, free gingival grafts, of that nature. Okay, so, actually probably don't even need this, I'm gonna be using that. All right, so my graft's up in there. It's secured, it's right up here in this buckle. It's kind of pulling the tissue up. I'll do a couple of sling sutures to pull this up after I get the temporary on. But for now, I can go ahead and just close this. So it's not a fancy incision, it's just a pretty simple remote incision. Okay.
Anything with a high production. Anything they do it nowadays.
Okay, put a temporary in that, and then, like I said, maybe a sling suture. We'll see. I feel like it's probably probably gonna stay up pretty good.
Exactly. Wait, did you worry about pulling that connective tissue all the way up to the gingival margin, or are you keeping it a little bit more apical than that?
I want it close. I don't need to pull it all the way up though, because he had a little band of connective tissue anyway.
All the way up and all the way
I did.
through?
I connected the tunnel all the way through because that tissue's got to release and pull up when I do. So go ahead and clip that. Okay. Yeah, I'll pull it up here. We're done with that. I might do another suture in there potentially just to see after I get the temporary in.
Yeah.
But I've got the gum graft in there. Tissue is yeah. Yep, I want it pretty close. And then once I get the temporary in, I'll probably just do one sling near the temporary just to pull it all up. But I've got the remote incision, I've got the graft in here. This will just, you can see he's got decent, like see how thick his band of of keratinized tissue is, but when it gets to here, it gets like only like 3 millimeters, and then it goes back down to being thick. So that's what this will do.
So your goal is to build it more apical, build it higher.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to use that other graft and place it down here, just around this implant. So down here on the bottom, this is really quick and easy. I just do a remote incision. You know, I might do it just be about right here, 1 tooth ahead. Just do a little vertical cut like that. Doesn't have to be big. And then from there you take your tunneling, instrument, and these are some of the fastest things you'll ever do in dentistry. It's like a pit and fisher, right? You got that real little remote incision, and you're just doing your little tunnel. Right, and just like that, you've created a nice little pouch for me to slip a little bit of gum tissue in there. Does that make sense? See that pouch? It's mucosa. It peeled off a mandible because the mandible is pretty like cortical plate. So it really just went in, and I've created that pocket. That's perfect. That's all I need. And now I can grab my other graft with some cotton pliers. And that I really don't even need like sutures to pull it through. You could, but that pocket is, it's pretty self-contained. So I can take this connective tissue graft I did and just slip it in. And then I'll come in from the outside, do a couple of stabilizing sutures. But let me make sure I got it. There we go. If you ever struggle to get this in, you can always come back with some sutures and pull it through.
Did you want the PGCL again?
Yeah. I like PGCL because it lasts pretty long. PGCL can get stiff and annoying to your patients though. All right, there we go. Kind of went in. Now I'm stuffing it in.
You want to push it all the way down to the healing bundle?
Yeah. So I'm going to get it in further because I created a pocket back here behind it. That's what I want to get into.
How high up the crust do you want to go?
Right to here.
Okay.
Now this type of tissue, it's going to create attached tissue. It's not going to create keratinized. So his keratinized tissue, if down the road he ever wants to do just a partial thickness, and we tie the roll down like a free gingival graft, it'll granulate in. But at least it'll be protected. So I've got that in there. I'll put a couple of closing sutures out here, and then I'll probably do one suture in here, like a little strap suture, just to pull it up, because it's in here. But so yeah, so where I do this graft, he's probably not going to feel a thing. It's mostly the harvest site that's going to give him some healing. But I don't know, I've had sealants that took longer than that.
if you had them, you could just throw some PRF slugs on top of that as well?
Yeah, I could slip one in there. How many do I have? Just one?
2.
Oh, I guess I could slip one in there. I'm kind of saving one for my temporary. What happened there? I got in
One
there.
in the donor side, right?
The what?
The palette.
Yeah, I want one in the donor site and then one in the facial. I don't know how much this one needs one because he's really not going to feel much.
I find suturing the palette to be kind of difficult.
Yeah, it can be. I'll walk you through how I do it here in a second. Because I have the whole thing and it lays back on itself, I think it'll actually be quite straightforward. So at this point we're just waiting for
Is Josh still working on the temporary?
probably. We just get so used to scanning and digitally printing. It's like, oh, I have to work on my hands now? And I have robots to do this? Okay.
Sent it to the lab and got it back by now.
Yeah. So I might do a little through my graft like this. Just to kind of hold it tight in there, come out the let me see here. There we go. I think we'll just make this implant a little bit nicer long term. Oh, shoot, I think I pulled that through. I did. Never mind. Hard to suture. I took my light out, the loops.
Under.
Yeah, I'm just doing a horizontal mattress here. It's just to secure it.
If there would have been a full crown there, you would have just done a sling around it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can use your crowns as a bit of a nice, yeah, wrap them around.
Should stay on. So you just kind of mattressed around that healing button,
Yep.
essentially? Okay.
Yep. Mostly just, I want the graft to be somewhat secure in there. Because it's just a small pocket, it kind of holds itself and it's connective tissue. Alloderm really needs to be secured in my opinion, but with a little pocket like that. All right, let's cut those sutures. Okay, hand me the open the gut suture.
Are you done with the suturing for the lower?
Yep, I'm done with the suturing for the lower. I close the wound and I have this one kind of horizontal mattress that's holding my graft in place there. And that'll heal. And now we're just waiting for the temporary. Once the temporary gets in, we'll put it in. I'm going to suture the palate closed. Have me a PRF membrane. Yeah, so this is just a horizontal mattress and close the wound. Like that was lickety split.
You go to the lingual side and come back?
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna put one of these in here just to promote some healing. So I'm gonna pull this.
Is Josh still working on the temporary?
Yeah.
I heard you
Waiting
people.
to hear me.
Yeah.
We thought you sent it out to the
Can I try this one more time?
Want me to try it in again? Okay. So I start here on the buckle and just, and I come in between, kind of a contact like this, and then that way I can finish tying on the buckle, just so he doesn't have a palatal suture which the tongue will just play with. And I'll go down here at the base and kind of go.
Can I just look at this again, Wade?
Yeah, what do you think? So, grabbing down there on the palate.
Is there a cover screen?
There is not. I don't think I put it back in. You want to drop it in?
I didn't have any more composites, so I just used Sprint Ray.
Oh, resin?
Crown, the new Crown resin.
Really? You just paint it on and carry it? Yeah, it looks good. Okay, that's good.
Do you want it in or do you want it out?
No, I want it in.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm gonna do one little sling suture around it.
My job is done. Later, people.
Were you gonna do a PR, like a PR
Join the
poncho on that?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not done. I want the poncho with the PRF, so we'll do it later.
Do you want it in though right now though, yeah?
Yeah, that's good.
There's PRF right here.
We got one, yeah. Okay, so grab the palate there, then I come back here, and I catch the coronal part of the lingual of the tooth, as such. So what I'm going to be doing here is just zigzagging back and forth from front to back and pulling that in. Then I'll take.
Can we take a photo after?
Yep.
Of like,
Everyone's hands in here?
yeah, let's do that. Like the gingival architecture of the front.
Yeah, yeah. So I come back, grab that palatal down near the midline a little bit more. Then I'll come back up.
Where did you go?
So up. Oh, I'm just trying to stuff a little bit with PRF. So I came up and see how there's this lingual tissue right here? Still, I grabbed through that.
Oh, okay.
So,
First, the bottom of it though.
yep.
Towards the midline.
Yeah, I just want to be able to zigzag, and as I pull, it kind of cinches it down. Some periacral glue over the top will help as well. If you do a free gingival graft and you don't do PRF, I think laying like a little colla tape or the bio tape down, doing this suturing and covering it with the periacral glue works really well as well. It's kind of a poor man's way, if you don't do PRF, to do it. Works really well too. So now I'll zigzag back up over. Some of these I'll come up over, and you can grab tissue. You can always come through. If the tissue right there isn't great to grab, you can always just go down through the buccal of the tooth, and then just move one tooth up and back through.
You're going back down on the other.
So that seems decently tight. And I'll come down here and let me blot it a little bit so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Okay, that looks a little better. Can you see what I'm doing there? And I'll come down here, right? And I'll come down here and grab just a bite like that. staying on the outside of the wound so that everything is really cinching down. And then you can grab, like I said, you don't have to come around the buckle. You can come around just like, I left that good band of tissue right there so I could just grab it right like that. Grab it, tighten. I'm gonna come over here, maybe kind of pull the mesial aspect, that trap door, kind of grab that and suture it. Right, we'd already have like 10 posterior implants placed by this time, right? You can see how much extra time these take. But I'll come up here again. And then from here I can probably come out. I've got it cinched pretty good there now, so kind of zigzag back and forth. It's up to there. That palatal wound is, it's pretty tight there, right? It's that whole trap door is PRF in there. I'll come back out to out here, and then we'll tie it off. Okay. So now we'll tie it off.
You always use a resorbable glue mix?
I do on the palette, just because I think after a week, whatever you have, you want it to be gone or resorbed or loose or falling out. Anything else gets really stiff and bothersome, and it's I don't know, it's annoying to patients, I think. I mean, a lot of docs wouldn't even suture the palette. They would just put pressure on it and leave it. It'd probably be okay. And it works that way, but I find if I suture it, the patients like me a little bit better. Because this is one of those procedures where I find patients either have almost no pain or lots, right? It's just one of those, like I feel nothing, but some definitely feel it. Okay, all right, so we have the PRF in here, and it's got a little tag sticking out there, but that's okay. That'll just kind of resorb and dissolve. That's tight. I'm going to put some Teflon and do that, but I'm going to do one maybe sling suture in here to try and pull this up. So the way I'll do my sling suture is I can really just come here in the lingual and I can come over like this, but it can leave scarring, and I told you I like to, if I can, come underneath through here like that. And then come around this side, get down a little deeper. Let's see, there we go.
Fun, isn't it, Grant?
Okay. And this might give us a little bit of tug and pull if I'm trying to get this up a little bit more. Take that back to the palette and then get a little snug up like that, and then if you can kind of see, that just pulls everything up just a little bit while we heal. So.
Are you worried about like the lip pull where you did those interrupteds on the apical part?
No.
Not so much. Did those stay above the connective tissue, or did they engage like the suture? Did it engage your connective tissue?
Those, no, it was just all just the mucosa.
Just was in the mucosa. Okay.
Yep.
So theoretically, it should just be sliding above it anyway.
All right, you want to cut that? Okay. I'll want a little piece of Teflon to close this palatal space.
Teflon suture.
Okay. No, Teflon tape.
You want some Teflon?
Yeah. That looks good. I'm going to stuff this PRF down in there a little bit more. It'll just help kind of promote some healing. And then we'll just let that do its thing. bite together. Yeah, he's got no biting on it, so. Or you want to just do cotton pellet? Oh, you got Teflon tape. Sweet.
Corn on the cob for dinner, huh?
All right, buddy. We're putting closing a little access hole with some Teflon and rinse you out, and then you're done.
I take out 15.
Oh yeah, shoot. I forgot this was. You gotta take that. I totally would have forgot. I forgot that was on the menu.
What's going on?
I'm surprised you haven't taken it out yet.
Might do your job.
Okay, grab me, I'm gonna rinse it out and grab me the curing light. And what happened to my flowable? Did he take it?
I don't know.
I think he did.
Do you need flowable?
Yeah, Josh took it to the lab.
You cutting people?
Yeah, I'm just gonna trim it a little bit more. That's good. Hold on a second. Hear that? All right, let's get you down here. Yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
We're good.
Let's rinse this all out. Looks fabulous. All right. You want to pull your own tooth out?
No.
Come on.
Do it.
David Yang put an implant on
it.
himself with a
Let's
robot.
see the skills.
He put an implant in himself with a robot.
Who did?
David Yang. He's got one of those like robot implant.
Yeah.
That does it for you.
The what?
And like the one that does it for you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can like see it on the
We've got the X
Doesn't
guide
it
here.
just,
yeah,
Like
it's similar to that,
space
yeah.
coordinates or something?
I don't know.
I think it does.
No, it's just it's.
No, doesn't it
there's
use
a
like?
lot. I think it's because the positioning device that checks.
I know,
where
but
you're
doesn't it go by coordinates from
Yeah.
like satellites?
It's not satellites. Whatever the
I
machine
think it
has.
is.
The machine has to.
On this, get it back to me after it's all
Are you
okay.
done with it now?
Yeah, yeah.
Make process.
I'm saying that goes with me.
For the space
But
coordinates.
I'll take it now just to get it processed.
thank you.
And then you have a local channel recording it.
Right.
And you got, like,
Feeling sore?
preparation.
Yeah, I'm tired.
You're just worn, probably from the stress, right? Of like
Oh my god.
the stress made you tired. All right. Well, everything went good. We're gonna take a final comb beam when we're done.
Looks nice.
Have a look at it.
Yeah.
It's looks good. We'll wiggle that tooth out and then let you chill for a bit. Cheers. You want to hold this lip up out of the way for me? I just want to hold this with your finger. Yeah, a little bit more. I just want to feel this. Make sure it's there. Sometimes these. Just want to make sure it wasn't loosening there. Okay. All right. Let me feel around that tooth. Probably could do it without anesthetic, huh?
Is the point of slinging on the palate because it's hard to get into that small marginal
This,
bit
the
that
slings?
you left, or is it because you think it holds better wrapping around there?
Doing the what?
The slings on the palate.
Yeah, this keeps pressure on
Pressure,
this.
like,
Yeah,
I
against
see.
this, so that this doesn't flap open, get food caught in it, you know,
No,
all
it
that.
feels really, really nice.
Let's see. So we'll just wiggle his upper tooth out and then give him a break to.
Are you going like a bioplug or anything?
No, there's no bone here. There's really. I don't want to get in there and disturb too much because I want 14 just to kind of. Okay.
You're replacing 15
Can you feel
or
that?
no?
No. Am I replacing 15?
Yeah.
No, I don't think. It depends how it heals. There's very little bone on there. I can show you the X-ray. It's one of those like.
There's like bone loss around too.
Yeah.
Failed endo?
Had endo, failed endo. It's just, it's gonna be. Look at the
There it
vertical
goes.
fracture
Oh,
on
yeah.
that. Oh yeah. I wiggled it out, and this.
It was already fractured.
You see that? That whole mesial root was fractured.
The roots are so short.
Yeah, the roots are short.
So short. Resort maybe.
All I know is, yeah, that's the problem. That thing was.
That is what
You had a massive vertical fracture down the mesial buccal. Let me see a mirror. Yeah, that'll explain why. Yeah, and it's just granulation tissue in there. I'm just gonna leave it and just let the body take care of it because it keeps. I feel like if I scoop enough of that out, I might be exposing the distal root. He's worried about 14, and I just don't want to. I'm just gonna let the body heal there. I'll probably replace with some bone. So, all right, you did it. Without.
Start of the show.
Now you're like, should have been sedated. We'll sedate you when we do the rest, huh? Probably.
Oh, that was, no,
You what?
hard to talk.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a pull on the tissue, man.
On the roof of your mouth,
Yeah, just anywhere. It doesn't hurt.
it's just the sensation that someone's pulling on my face.
Just knowing that there's an instrument inside of my tissue, it just feels like you're yanking it. Like you don't want to put it off.
Because you actually kind of do know what's going on, and so it's like, yeah. Nope, everything went smooth. So you got pretty good torque on that. Yeah, we'll give you some gauze, but no, it's not.